What's up guys, Matt back again with another video, and this is the Ichiban Kuji Dragon Ball Legends Battle of World. And in this video, we're going to be reviewing the entire set. Before we dive into the video, please remember to subscribe and hit the bell, like the video, comment your thoughts down below for us to discuss, follow me on my socials, and consider becoming a YouTube member to enter into our monthly giveaways and Discord server so our community can help you on your Dragon Ball figure collecting journey. This Kuji kicks off with arguably the most iconic moment of Dragon Ball captured in a figure, Super Saiyan Goku. The legend of the Super Saiyan was being teased from the Saiyan arc up until its dramatic reveal in the Namek arc. Goku's legendary form was triggered in a dramatic moment with both Piccolo hitting near death and Krillin getting killed by Frieza. Although this figure is primarily based on his Ultra from the mobile game Dragon Ball Legends, it is still based on the iconic moment of his Super Saiyan transformation, which is an amazing choice for Ichiban Kuji. This whole Ichiban Kuji set features Masterly's E-moving figures, which are a type of Masterly's figure with removable parts, usually the head. This Goku has 3 different heads for his figure: his base form, his transformation, and his Super Saiyan form. He also comes with 2 pairs of arms to reflect each moment of his transformation. The idea behind E-moving really allows people to pick and choose the best way to display their figures, or to get multiple figures to show each head as intended. I love collecting multiple copies of E-moving figures so I can appreciate each head sculpt. Goku's likeness is fantastic across all of these figures. He looks nearly identical to the anime, and having details like the sweat dripping down his face in base form, the blank eyes and veins of the transformation sculpt, and of course, the glowing green eyes and scowl from the Super Saiyan form. His hair sculpt has more of a detailed look to it rather than the fluffy look from the manga and anime, which is a bummer, but not a big deal as it's closer to his Legends render that it's inspired by. The sculpt of the figure speaks for itself with its ability to swap out heads and arms, but the actual details behind those are incredible. Goku's gi has been crafted to perfection with the battle damage from his fight with Frieza, his bulging muscles, and the scratches and scuffs put all around his body. The figure is perfectly sized and pairs well with other Goku figures in my collection. My only criticism of the figure is that I believe his skin is a bit too tan for my liking. I know during the GT era, Goku had darker skin, but this figure released way after that era and went back to the proper coloring of Goku's skin. He does have great paint and shading applied all throughout the figure aside from that minor nitpick. I've said it once and I'll say it again here. They just don't make them like this anymore. Son Gohan, arguably the second main character besides Goku in Dragon Ball Z, has his iconic Super Saiyan 2 transformation recreated in Masterly's E-moving. When most people think of Gohan, they think back to his transformation into Super Saiyan 2 during his fight with Cell. It was epic and made it clear that Gohan was far and above the strongest character at the time. This E-moving figure gives us Gohan as he's screaming in rage from Android 16's death and his quiet, angered look in Super Saiyan 2. I personally think that the Super Saiyan head sculpt looks a bit better as it looks much closer to the source, while the Super Saiyan 2 likeness is okay, though his hair sculpt is a bit off with more of a banana look to it and being a bit too wide. Gohan also has a bit of the same issue as Goku, being a little too tan, but it's nowhere near as apparent. He's got plenty of details and shading like the scuffs and battle damage from his fight with Cell. I also think this Gohan is perfectly scaled next to figures like Cell, as Gohan is only 11 years old during this fight, something that some fans forget. I don't think this Gohan figure is really all that bad, and some of the criticisms toward it are blown out of proportion, but I don't think it lives up to the likes of the Grandista or Master Star's Piece versions. I'm hoping Bandai revisits this figure one day to give us the true, definitive Teen Gohan figure in Masterly's. In a time before every Vegeta figure release seemed to be Majin Vegeta, this was our first Masterly's version of it, and oh boy, what a glorious figure. This Majin Vegeta figure is a holy grail for so many reasons. Majin Vegeta was one of the most iconic iterations of Vegeta, with an intense fight with Goku in the anime, and of course his emotional sacrifice against Majin Buu. The figure takes full advantage of that particular moment by giving us Vegeta in his final explosion charge up, and the ability to swap the head and arm for his actual unleashing of the technique. Vegeta's likeness is one of the best ever on this figure. His angered face looks perfect, and his glowing green eyes within the exploding head sculpt is fantastic. Vegeta's sculpt has plenty of details from his muscles and veins wrapping around his body, along with the battle damage from Majin Buu. The figure also has insane amounts of shading on his skin, jumpsuit, gloves, boots, and hair. He scales perfectly with other figures and looks great next to something like the Omnibus Ultra Majin Buu. He did eventually get recycled in that Omnibus Ultra set, but this figure is way better than that piece of crap. There's not much more needed to be said with this Majin Vegeta figure. He's the best of the best, and probably the best Vegeta figure you can get. Ultra Instinct Goku makes an appearance in this Ichiban Kuji to nobody's surprise. Ultra Instinct was still fresh in our minds back in 2018, so seeing an E-moving of both forms that are very similar outside of the colors was expected. Goku's Ultra Instinct and Ultra Instinct Sign forms were part of the highest points of the Tournament of Power with his fights against Jiren and Kefla. The figure is certainly an upgraded version of Kokoni Kiwamariri, as it uses the original body sculpt from that figure, but greatly improves on his hair and face. The likeness is great on these figures. It's a shame that the Ultra Instinct Sign head doesn't come with a torso or something, since he's always depicted with his iconic blue shirt in this form. Regardless of that, these are some of the best looking UI Gokus in the face. I will say that using the former UI Goku's body sculpt again is a bit of a letdown, since I already felt as though the body was too slim for this form. It doesn't make the form come off as intimidating in my opinion. This figure also suffers from the same issues as some of the others by having a lot darker of a skin tone than what I'm used to seeing for Goku. However, I do prefer the color of orange they use for his pants compared to the Kokoni's pants colors. The figure isn't bad by any means and is probably best suited for the mastered head sculpt due to his body sculpt design, but maybe can be used as an in-between transformation towards mastered Ultra Instinct. Shallot is the main character and face of Dragon Ball Legends. He's an original Saiyan character made for the story of the game that has lost his memory and usually ends up fighting characters like his brother and notable Dragon Ball villains. I'm not the biggest Legends fan on the planet, but definitely played a lot of it during Legends Fest 2023. Once Ultra Instinct Goku came out, I kind of fell off. Aside from all that, it's nice to see Bandai include Shallot as a mass release figure in this Kuji. There is a double chance prize version of this figure of him with red armor to reference his brother, but I don't think I've ever seen a listing for this figure to buy, since they only made like 10 to 15 copies of the figure. I'd love to see what kind of price tag that has. Shallot unfortunately is displayed on a base and stand, which is something I strongly dislike in most of my figures, especially Masterly's, due to the fact that they take up more space than necessary and gather more dust than normal. The rest of the sculpt is solid though, and gives him plenty of details on his armor, tail textures, and Ki Blast in his hand. By the way, if you were wondering what the E-moving feature of this figure is, it's just the Ki Blast in his hand with a regular fist. Pretty boring for an E-moving, but I digress. Shallot's likeness is just okay. He looks okay at certain angles if you're trying to emulate the source that he's based on from the title render of the game, but from a lot of other angles, he does look a bit strange. The figure has plenty of shading all over as well, but his colors really don't allow him to pop at the same level of other characters in the set. He's also pretty big for a mass release figure. I don't know if Shallot is canonically bigger than Goku, but he definitely looks like it as he's lunging forward in this figure. Listen, I don't hate this Shallot figure, but he really does fade into the background with most of the other figures in this set. It's him versus some of the most legendary moments in all of Dragon Ball. This Kuji wraps up with a manga-colored version of the Prize A Super Saiyan Goku, so a lot of the same issues and positives of the other Goku play into this figure. I will say that it's always lazy to see a figure get a simple recolor within Ichiban Kuji, but I can always appreciate a manga recolor to a degree. This Goku is definitely painted in a style I prefer between Prize A and the last one, and it's definitely my favorite version of the two in the set. The main differences in the colors are seen in Goku's hair and gi. His hair is a brighter color of yellow with more whites to highlight the Super Saiyan hair. His gi has much brighter and saturated colors to match Goku's brighter colors in the manga. I personally use this last one prize as the Super Saiyan form, while my Prize A is posed as the base and transformation forms. There's not much else to say on this figure, but it definitely has a soft spot in my heart as it's a manga colored version of one of my very first mass release figures. So those are my thoughts on Dragon Ball Legends Battle of World. It's a very old Kuji within the Masterly space. This was one of my first jumps into Masterly, so I have a soft spot for a lot of this set, but if I had to be critical, I would probably put it maybe a high B or a low A tier set. That's gonna have to take some thought, but if you are a big fan of a lot of these moments, then I do recommend picking up at least half the set. But those are my thoughts on this set, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Let's have a discussion on this Kuji. If you got this far in the video, then please drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you want to go even further beyond and support the channel even further, you can become a $3 member and join our growing Discord community full of all the people you see right here in the credits. They're super awesome. If you want to get part in our monthly giveaway, then you can become a $10, $15, or $20 member, so that way you can win a Crane figure, an Ichiban Kuji figure, or an Ichiban Kuji set specifically. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. Thank you for supporting the channel, all of our members, and I think that's all I got for you guys today. So until the next video, guys, I will see you all later.